Hi everyone, my name is Christian Andre, and hopefully you're back from last week from our show on yoga. And this is the New Age show, as I said, on yoga and yoga therapy. And I want to welcome back Mr. Bikram. How you doing?
Good to see you, Christian. How are you doing? Good.
Okay, so last week we talked on yoga and the origins of yoga and the benefits of it, and we're going to talk more about that. To start the show, maybe I want to, well, first of all, let's do a quick thing just for people to know. You've been doing yoga with a lot of famous people, and
yes, I'm doing.
Go ahead, Shirley MacLaine. It's like who's who of Hollywood.
In Hollywood, in show business, over half of the stars is my students. Even movie business. Then, of course, in the politicians. Then in the sports. Let's say in the sports, like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, John McEnroe, Eric Dickerson, all the topmost players, when they can't function anymore physically, they can't play anymore, and they went to the doctors, and doctors can't help them, then they send them to me, and I'm taking care of them. Like I make Kareem play 7 seasons more. John McEnroe also, I make 6 seasons more to play like this one. Eric Dickerson, middle of the tournament, he couldn't play, and because of his injuries, I fixed it in a couple of weeks. Still, he's playing, like this. A lot of celebrities named Shirley MacLaine, my student for 30 years, Candice Bergen, Juliette Prowse, Quincy Jones.
So I think like Quincy Jones, I had a brain tumor.
Brain tumor, two surgeries, double surgeries in 24 hours. The best brain surgeon in the world who did, he said he will, if he survive, he will never walk again. And he did yoga every day for 15 years, every single day. And look at this, he's the biggest star in the world, right now going on. If he never came to my class, he'll be dead 20 years ago, Like this, I have hundreds of thousands of examples.
Yeah.
Right.
So here, we have a star in a way. We have Julian here. Hi, Julian. How are you doing?
I'm just fine.
All right. So this is Julian Goldstein, and why don't I just show some books before we forget about it? So this is Bikram's book on yoga. You want to say something about it?
Well, this is there's hundreds of thousands of books written in yoga in this world. But this is the only book written which is, you can call it yoga therapy. If you have a medical problem, chronic disease like a heart or back or neurological problem, even psychological problem, you can practice yoga. Suppose you are in North Dakota somewhere, you cannot come to Beverly Hills School. You can pick up these books and you can learn yoga and do yourself and cure your chronic diseases. Yes. Right. That's why it's like a medical book, this book. It's been selling 16 years, hot cake.
Okay, so hopefully, people got a good look at it, and next book, stay a little longer, please, on it. And but anyhow, if you're interested in getting the book and all that, you can call at the end of the show the number, and I'll help you get in touch with Bikram. And also, if you want to take his classes and all that. Anyhow, I want to show also this book, and this is a book written by Julian. And if we could have the camera zoom on it, there we go, beautiful. Okay, and make sure it's focused and all. And so Julian, just this is the story of how you got to yoga and how you met Bikram and how you cured your diabetes, right?
Well, it's strange that you should say that I cured my diabetes, because I've been diabetic since I was 27 years old, and I'm what they call a type 2 diabetic. Although sometimes it seemed like I was like a type 1. But ultimately, the oral medication ceased to function for me. I had to go on insulin, and I'd been on insulin for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And it seemed that even the insulin was not working as well. As I was becoming older and older, that I required more and more medication in order to try to keep my blood sugars under control. But I was always a case where I couldn't keep my blood sugars under the kind of control that the doctors would like it to be. It was always a problem. The book tells us my story of my diabetes. It tells some of the problems that diabetics have, and it tells how I came to yoga. And basically, I came to yoga because I had a herniated disc. And within 5 months of doing the 28 postures and the 2 pranayama breathings that are described in the Bikram's yoga book, my diabetes seemed to have been gone.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by gone is that I no longer required any medication to control my blood
You
sugar.
stopped taking insulin?
It was a gradual process. As I was doing the postures, I found that I required less insulin to control my blood sugars, until ultimately I came to a point where I did not need any insulin at all. And my blood sugars seemingly were totally under control without any effort on my part.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't believe what was happening. It was something that was so overwhelming to me, because there was all these side effects that were going on in my life. My feet were getting numb. The blood circulation was to the point where I was afraid if I cut my foot that gangrene might set in.
Yeah.
That
that's a development of diabetes, right?
Yeah.
Because I've seen diabetic people where they're losing limbs and stuff, right?
It's a common complication. I have friends who are diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a woman I know who has been amputated to her hips because of lack of circulation.
Wow.
50 surgeries. Ultimately, they took her piece by piece by piece.
Wow.
Diabetes is the 4th largest killer in the United States. And that doesn't count people who die from the complications of diabetes. I mean, stroke, heart disease, those are very, very common complications of diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
People who die of a stroke, who are also diabetic, they're not reported that way. Diabetes is also the second, is the only disease other than AIDS which has an age-adjusted mortality rate that's increasing. Every year there's over 750,000 new diabetics that are diagnosed.
Wow.
And they believe that there's probably another 100,000 who are not. People who die before they are diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
And those 5 months went by, and I saw my diabetes had been, I hate to use the word cure, because cure has a meaning that some people think, you take a pill and your disease is cured, it's all gone.
No,
it's not cured. I think, it's like my book title says, it says, I say I'm diabetic always. But doing the Hatha Yoga has changed my system inside in a way that I cannot explain, because of the feeling that I have. I have a sense of well-being inside that I have never had in my life, even before my diabetic onset. Bikram has explained how. Well, why don't you explain how you explain how it works when we do some of the postures like this?
It's very simple, Christian. Like you are a healthy average man or average healthy man in the world. Do you know how much percentage of your body you use in 80, 90 years of your life? Not even 3%. Like you are driving a Ferrari Testarossa 3 miles an hour in the Wilshire Boulevard in office hours in first gear all the time. You never had chance in all of your life to put it in the second gear.
Mm-hmm.
So why you have to have a Ferrari in any way? If you cannot drive in the Las Vegas, on the way to Las Vegas, 220 miles an hour, So that's the human life. So what yoga does, you use it's the only way, only exercise, only treatment, only medicine in the world, you use your body 100%. But we have hundreds of yoga postures and the breathing exercise. By doing, you use each and every internal organs, all the internal important glands, nerves, veins, ligament, even tiny tissue size of molecule. What is diabetes? I'll request Dr. Das to explain why you get diabetes. It's very simple. It's not a disease. It's a lack of function of pancreas and the relation of the kidneys. Body cannot absorb the sugar from the natural food. So you have to inject the imbalance of the sugar in the body. Either you have extra sugar or no sugar. Mm-hmm. It's so simple. You know how I came to Los Angeles? American Diabetes Association. They invited me in. Believe me or not, 35 years professional career, I never failure to cure one diabetes patient like Julian who listened to me. And doctor said diabetes is not curable. Every day, 6 times a day, you have to take injections. Dr. Das, why don't you explain biochemically, physiologically, why people get diabetes, why insulin doesn't help, and why yoga therapy we cured diabetes patient? Please go ahead.
That's right. So basic idea of yoga to have a better healing in diabetes, what is known as hyperglycemic condition in medical terms. Actually it is a blood sugar, so excess sugar in the blood streams, that is known as the diabetes.
Which is imbalance of the sugar in the blood.
What we call hyperglycemic conditions. How yoga is going to help in the maladies like diabetes? First, we don't have that much of physical exercise. Mental stress, no physical activity, which is the basic cause of diabetes. Why diabetes? There is the internal organs which is known as the pancreas, actually medically known as islet of Langerhans, and from there we are having one insulin secretion that is known as pancreatic beta cells that we need to improve. And if the inadequacy of this pancreatic beta cells, I mean the insulin, naturally we cannot in a position to balance the starch, automatically we are having the excess sugar in the blood, and which is the main cause of almost all the destroying part of the systems. That means you might have the weakness of the muscular systems, that is neuropathy. You might have the problems with the articular surface and the bone surface, the arthritis, that means frozen shoulder, the pediatritis, and so many and so on. Because in diabetic condition you cannot have the better healing. If you have the anything inside, you need to have a surgery. You cannot go for the surgery because until diabetes is under control. Not only that, day by day you ruined your entire systems, muscular systems, nerve systems, bone systems. You make yourself very weak gradually. So naturally we need to have a better control over the diabetes by implementing the exercise, number one. And not only the physical exercise will take care of, until unless you know the stress management rehabilitation. Because diabetes and hypertension, which is the basic causes which comes from the stress related syndromes. Until unless you take care of how to have the better management, stress management I mean, you cannot get the relief with the hypertension and diabetes.
Management of stress?
That's right. So that is why in yoga we implement the yoga exercises to have a better functioning of the pancreas.
Can you explain, Dr. Das, just 2 or 3 special postures, how biochemically, physiologically prevent or heal the diabetes patient?
That's right.
The way Julian did it.
And do we want to have Rajashree?
Rajashree can go again. You want a couple of demonstrations if you want to.
Yeah. Generally, we trace for the how to utilize your internal organs, I mean the viscera. Especially liver, we give the stress. Pancreas, we give the stress. We give the stress for the spleen as well. And especially entire vertebral column, breathing efficiency, which is giving unknowingly the massaging on the inner by breathing, respiratory efficiency exercises. So we give posture along with the breathing. That is the scientific way. Have the breathing consumption, I mean the oxygen consumption, I mean the respiratory efficiency along with the postural efficiency. And we generally use muscles of the back, which is known as the back muscle efficiency. Generally, entire back muscle you should utilize properly to have the better pancreatic secretion. And research has been confirmed. Yoga posture has got positive role to have the better healing. And that healing comes with the holistic healing, the yoga science.
So the Cobra posture that we demonstrated in the first show would be one of the postures that you would use.
That's right.
For anybody that displays diabetes.
So that's right. That there are so many back posture, extension exercise through which you are using the back muscle efficiency. Another posture specifically we are using efficiency of the internal viscera and the back muscles. So naturally, let us demonstrate the Dhanurasana, the bow posture.
Okay.
Let's say bow posture, which is known as Dhanurasana. Just see how I am going to scientifically narrate. Just lie on your stomach, bend your knees, hold your ankles, and pull your upper part of the spine and lower part of the spine and make a bow shape.
Yeah. So that posture is known as the bow
posture, right? Entire pressure you are exerting on the internal viscera and you are using your back muscles as well. It is a combined effect.
Can we have a full view of the side view of the bow posture, please? No, you do it. Do one more time.
Carry on. So this efficiency.
No, not sight. I asked the camera.
Yeah.
In the camera, we need one complete
put it
view,
on camera.
not the half of the body, please. Go ahead, Rajashree, go ahead.
These postures, what is known as the bow,
I need a side view of complete our whole body.
that's right. So that's right. That's right.
Yes.
We are using internal pressure we are exerting on the internal viscera, and we are using the back muscles. That is the back muscle efficiency you are using by having the back extension exercise, which we use as a yoga medicine instead of any hypoglycemic drugs.
Yeah.
This posture take care of internal viscera and the muscles of the back muscle. All the organs are situated on the back muscles. So naturally we must use, along with the pressure on the organs, plus we are using the back muscle efficiency as well to improve the pancreatic beta cells efficiency, through which you can have the adequacy of the insulin. And not only that, sometimes this hampers due to excess amount of stress and tensions. That is why we implement some meditations, posture or tranquility exercise for better relaxations and healing effects. So that is why basic idea to have the take care of stress management, to have the relaxation exercise of the mind too. Mental relaxation.
You want to do relaxation of Ardha Kurmasana?
Relaxation.
Please go
in
ahead.
this way.
This is one of the, sorry to stop you.
That's right.
You won't believe it looks so simple, but this posture give you in 60 seconds of this posture give more relaxation than you get in 8 hours sleep in one night. You know what American said? Good thing I'm in the small package. English said quality better than quantity.
Improve the brain circulations, improve the inflow of the blood towards the brain. Automatically you are thinking something like that. And in this posture sometimes we give some chanting, that is known as the Bhamuri Mudra. Means in this posture, Bhamuri kara ache? Bees. Make the sound like bees. That when you are chanting something, actually you are not thinking something else. Even if you try to think something else, you cannot think, because you are concentrating on sound. This is one kind of meditations, chanting meditation, what we call the Bhamuris. In this we are trying to tranquilize our mental planks, because you cannot diffuse the rays of mind, that to be possible with discipline. So and another posture I am saying is the Ardha Masandrasana. This Ardha Masandrasana,
spine twisting posture.
That is the only posture.
Very important posture of all the postures.
That is the torsion of the spine. This torsion of the spine is taking care of your internal viscera, intervertebral columns, and it is making the rejuvenate the efficiency of the nerves.
180-degree angle. And spine improve the extension of the spine. It is the only exercise you are exercising spine from coccyx to the neck up to the oblongata medulla. Each and every joints of vertebrae and cartilage you are exercising like a pearl's necklace. There is no exercise in the world. Okay, look for the back view. Do the back view. Yeah. Go ahead.
There's the ental segments in the nerve plexus or situated on the back.
The spine look like this.
Ental plexus.
When you have a bad spine, you go to chiropractor. What they do? Exactly same thing, but they crack it for a second. But here you're holding it for 10, 20, 30 seconds.
And all the plexus of the nerve plexus, they're situated on the spinal column, which you are utilizing and rejuvenating the stimulation effects in your systems. So that is the basic efficiency of the torsion of the spine. So that also takes care of your pancreas, your nerve plexus, your internal viscera, and everything. And Janushirasana, one is head and knee posture. That is also important posture.
Incredible posture for the diabetes.
Diabetes.
Function properly. Yoga, what is yoga? Yoga is relation, union, marriage. So each posture creates a better relationship with different internal organs. Like the lungs hit the heart. Heart doesn't like you don't like your neighbor. Same way. But here they create better relation each organ. Here the incredible relation between the pancreas and the kidney. So what's happening here, Janushirasana? You're compressing the pancreas, extension the kidneys. So that's why it's an improvement of the blood circulation, like a natural irrigation of the circulatory system with the help of respiratory system, bringing more fresh blood in the oxygen, carrying the nutrition, cleaning all the elements in the internal organs. Looks so simple.
That's right.
But we proved it in the computer, in medical science, which I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do in my next result in Siddharsana. How yoga posture cure chronic diseases when in the posture going to happen. You have no idea what's happening inside the body. Like a Hoover Dam, one side is so much water level, other side dry, no water. But for irrigation, when water, open the lock gate and you bring the water and supply that. That's what exactly yoga posture does, And this is also another incredible postures, Look at this.
Yeah.
Andre and Christian, the American people are like, show me. And it's hard to see that doing these postures can benefit, just to look at the postures.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's a little experiment that everybody can do. And if you just take your hands, just take a look at both of your hands and just squeeze your left fist and just keep squeezing that fist for about 10 seconds, as hard as you can. And you notice it'll get white and some of the blood will happen. It'll want to get into your hand, but it can't. And then open your hand and let it relax. And then look at the color. And you'll see that your left hand is a lot pinker than your right. In fact, it'll stay a lot pinker for a long time. And the reason is that because you've been holding that blood back behind the dam. And now it's flushing the hand. And just the same way, it flushes internally when we compress the organs. It flushes the organs with fresh, highly oxygenated blood. And it causes, it has to, in my case, it had to rejuvenate a pancreas which was not functioning correctly. The highly oxygenated blood had to be able to process the glucose with a lower amount of insulin than it was before. Because part of the condition that I had was what was called insulin resistance, because I was required to take over 75 units a day, and just to maintain near normal blood sugars. And now my system takes care of itself, and I believe that this is the only reason why. I can feel that there's a difference.
That's great. And also another thing, I think that they've done a test with Kirlian photography that catches the energies around the body or the auras and stuff, and they found out that yoga, unlike any other type of exercise, actually gives you more energy than you had before, and they've measured it with the auric field.
I got it.
In other words, you lose energy doing other types of exercise.
That was a very good question. Thank you so much. Yoga class is a gas station. Even when you don't do exercise, even you sleep, you're burning your energy because your body function is continuously going on. Every exercise in the world you do, even jogging, running, basketball, swimming, you name it. Constant, you are burning the energy. Like, you fill the tank of the gas, take the cars in the freeway, go highway 5 to San Francisco, halfway, 200 miles, gas tank is empty, you got to fill it up. When tank is empty, it on go. You have to have a gas. That's what all the exercise does. But yoga exercise is different. Instead of burning energy, it gives you energy. Why? What is energy? Energy is consisted by two parts, nutrition and relaxation. Nutrition comes from the food, relaxation comes from sleeping. But when natural food and the sleeping, you don't get enough energy, you are sick. But that's why when you do yoga, you get more energy. You don't have to sleep 8 hours a day, and you don't need 3 meals a day. Do you know how much I sleep? 30 years?
I know. I read that and I can't believe it.
Yes.
Does this man really sleep 1 hour a night?
Yes, he does.
You're kidding me.
31 years, I sleep 1 hour.
Okay.
You know how much I eat?
Well, I read 1 meal a day.
1 meal, even a small meal. 2 years ago, Julian 1 meal, and my today's 1 meal looked like a day and night different. Why? Because we don't need it.
We don't need it.
We don't need it. 3 times a day you eat it, you make body as a junkyard. You are dumping the food.
That's funny what you're saying. I've in a way, I felt that in the sense that, let's say when I run myself down and I overwork and I don't get enough sleep and all that stuff, I have a tendency, I go to food because it feels like I'm going to get energy out of it, and I get a short amount of energy, but that's
called mental weakness.
Yeah.
You feel guilty conscious, you have to fill it up with something else. No.
I lost 40 pounds in the first year without going on a diet.
Yeah.
People lose in my class pound a day. Pound, the easiest thing in the world is lose weight. Let's talk about lose weight.
Okay, we have very, 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 very little time. So, but anyhow, I wanted to say something, because can you believe, ladies and gentlemen, that this man is whatever age you're, I heard around 45 to 50, somewhere around that.
I'm almost 50 years old.
And so I think that's pretty amazing to me. And unfortunately, we don't have much time left. I wanted also to go, I guess we'll have to do some other shows on, yoga feats that you did as far as, showing control over your bodily
Yes.
functions, because
Yes.
it's all related to that.
When you do yoga, because you use your body instead of 3%, 100%, you get a total 100% horsepower. You have a supernatural power. That horsepower, when you put it together, that means marriage between body and mind, you go one step above than the earth. Is called higher consciousness or cosmic consciousness. Now, everybody thinks I have some cosmic consciousness, supernatural power. How do you prove it? So my guru created the physical fitness based to barriers underground for 3 days, 10 feet. No oxygen, we can live comfortably.
Oh my God.
We used to support elephant on the chest. I did that incredible show. I shows all over United States people, We lie on the bed of nails, withdraw the pain. There's a 5th stage of characteristics yoga called pratyahara. Means withdraw the sensation power from the nervous system. You can lie on bed of nails. I don't know my name. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
So people take pills because their back hurts. You can withdraw it. So that's the supernatural power you can create through yoga practice, and you avoid all the problems.
Okay, well, we're running out of time, so
Is there time to show a clip from the...
you know why?
The pregnancy video?
Actually,
It's so beautiful.
it's I know, but what we'll do is that we'll actually close the show on the pictures of the pregnancy video. If we can do that, that'd be great. And I want to thank everybody very much for being here. Bikram, Julian, Rajashree, PSDS. Thank you very, very much for being here. Okay, and this was the New Age show, and why don't we just close the show on pictures of Rajashree and other pregnant women doing yoga. Thank you very much.